please question you.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Hart.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming. On Thursday, it was either Thursday morning, no, I think it was the Monday morning. Do you remember joining me and Ms. Jimenez in my office to talk about a safety plan to keep Luis safe?
Yes.
Sorry, can I just want to clarify what Monday, what Thursday?
It's Monday, not the Thursday. It was I thought first Thursday, but it was the Monday that she pulled him out. This day that the young man came up.
Is that the 22nd?
Can you explain?
What day was that again?
The
That was
22nd.
the 22nd of, okay, 22nd of
What?
Sorry, to clarify again, I think the 22nd is a Thursday. So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
The 19th.
Monday the 19th.
Monday was the
Monday
19th, I believe.
I apologize. Yeah, the math was quickly catching up. Sorry about that. Can you recall what we discussed about a plan to keep him safe?
Yeah. We talked to the mother about ways that we can help support Luis in this time. I think on her behalf, she said that she didn't want us to overly do it because she didn't want them to know that we were having a conversation. But I told her there's no other way I can do it if you want me to help the situation. And so from that meeting, I knew what I was doing. I had brought him around older football players so that he would be feeling like he had people to support him and trying to just clear up the air from everything.
And then later that afternoon, can you give us some just details around the mediation you did with Luis and another student?
Yes.
But that was
later that day.
That was later that day.
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm just going to clarify again. I think that was Thursday, August 22nd. So I think we are back at the Thursday, August 22nd date. Am I correct?
I would say, yes. I'm trying to think about my timeline. I'm not really sure. But I'm talking about the meeting. I think what we're talking about is the time where his mother came in and we spoke. Later that day we had practice.
Right.
And then the 5 individuals showed up. Correct. Is that what we're talking about?
Correct.
Okay.
that was all the same day?
That was all on the same day.
Yeah, that was all on Monday.
So we had that
So
conversation.
Monday, the 19th.
It's Thursday, the August 22nd.
Thursday the 22nd.
Thursday the 22nd.
Okay, so Thursday the 22nd we're talking about.
Okay. So on that Thursday the 22nd, we had the meeting with the mother. And then I decided as the head football coach was I was going to meet with Luis and another student that was involved in this situation. Because since I have that role as social and emotional counselor, I do have a lot of different individuals that I meet with. And so I have collected my own, I can start to pinpoint what's going on. And so I met with, literally after the freshman practice, I met with Louis and another student at our school, brought him into our team room down in the football room, and we sat down and had a conversation about what's going on. Let's air it out to see if we can find a place of resolution. And from that meeting, we actually did, us three. But as I proceeded out of the team room after we had a conversation, I seen 5 unknown people at the time walking down to our field. And then I seen the individual that we were with that had just had a communication with Louis, and another kid by the name of Alvaro, which I think will be in my statement, looked at each other look at these guys here. And so Alvaro was like, I already did it. And I'm trying, at the time, I'm like, you already did what? I can try to fix it because I'm there. And so I could tell that those individuals that stood here kind of made him feel a certain type of way. And so I said, don't trip. I'm going to take you up to the locker room. I'm going to make sure that nothing happens to you. I said, when I'm here, you're on my football team, nothing will happen to you with me. And so we proceeded to go to the locker room. Then when we proceeded to go to the locker room, another carload of another 5 individuals pulled up for Alvaro. And this is a time at Hayward High School where we have a lot of people on campus. So we have our practice. We have our Aggies up top. We have over 200 kids come up there and practice. And so I had 2 unknown groups of people there at my school. And my whole idea was get them out. We got this, get them out. So I approached the car and I told them you need to leave. And so Alvaro jumped in the car and left. And I did, if you want to know, I did let my principal know. I did let other people know as well.
All right. Then on the day of the incident, Monday, the following Monday, were in the principal conference room after the fight occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain what occurred in that room?
So after the fight, it was me, Louis, and Coach Ben, and we're all really upset. And I think the reason why we were upset was because we really wanted to make sure that this didn't happen on our campus. This is something that I went to Hayward High School, and we believe in athletics, and that can solve everything. And so when this happened, we were extremely upset. And I think Louis could say that too. I was then given a punch knife. I don't know what it is. But at the time, I didn't feel comfortable giving it to law enforcement because, again, I'm on the side of protecting Louis. This is my player. This is my student that we've been trying to keep away from this problem. So I did not give it to the officers at the time. And then afterwards, the police left. He left. Then I gave it to my principal with the HEA rep because I was just instructed to do that with our union rep.
Okay, and how did it come about him giving you the knife?
This is when it was just us three in there, and we approached, and I'm like, what happened? And he's like, I got him. And I was like, just give it to me. And I took it, and I kept it in my pocket.
I have no further questions.
I have questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I want to start with Thursday,
Okay.
when you met with Louise
Uh-huh.
and the other student, and you talked to them about what the issue was.
Mm-hmm.
What was the issue? Did they say what the issue was?
So I think a lot of problems at our school happens when, we have no communication, and I think this is what I've even said in our meeting. I said the reason why this problem's happening is because of miscommunication, the misunderstanding of each other. And so we sat in there and talked about what is the miscommunication. I believe, I can't even recall word for word, but I think the problem was that they were assuming that he was saying stuff to him, and he wasn't even at the school at the time. Remember that? I think that's what he was saying. And so just by him saying that statement, and then Louis wasn't even there, I'm like, so what are you guys talking about? See, this is what happens when miscommunication happens. You guys are thinking things that are not happening. So that was one big thing that we talked about at that meeting. And I think they brought up a situation with his cousin or something outside. But I directed him and said, this has nothing to do with Louis. And I'm trying to recall our situation.
So it was about some miscommunication,
Yes,
things
ma'am.
that had been said. And one of those things is this other student said Louise had stated some things to him, and Louise wasn't there at the time.
100%.
Okay. And then you mentioned that you saw a group of students,
Yes.
apparently with Louise.
Yes.
How did you figure that he was with Louise?
So, I guess, so you're asking me a question of how did I?
How did you figure that the
So
students
when
were
we
there
walked
for
out
Louise?
of the locker room together, I seen the two students who are the opposing of Louise, and they were pointing at those guys saying those guys are making me feel some type of way, and I could just tell through body language and demeanor, it all switched up. Because even when we walked out of there, I think he walked past Alvaro, and I didn't even know they had an issue. But when they walked past each other, it was a different. And I was like, "Hey," and I introduced you to. Remember, I made you guys shake hands. So I'm not sure. I was like, but then I realized why.
Okay.
I didn't even know those dudes were there at the time.
And then you mentioned there was another group of students that was there for the other student that you had mediation with.
So what I found out when I was taking that student up to the locker room, because I drive my truck down, so I threw Alvaro in my truck, and I said, let's go to the locker room. You're going to get dressed. I'm not going to leave until you leave. So I guess when I walked out, he already called people when we were in the mediation because he's seen the five guys. So I'm over here trying to hold it down before anything jumps off. And so, yeah.
And so when you took him back, did he just immediately jump into the car with the other students? Or did you tell them to leave?
So, yeah, he went in the locker room, changed, got out, approached the car. They were talking, and I walked over there myself. I actually walked him over there, and I seen there was a group of 5 people. I didn't really know who it was. I only knew one person in that car. And I said, whatever y'all want to do, you can't do it here. I said, please, leave the campus. And at that time, I did feel a little bit of uncertainty for myself in my rest of my program. But I had to do what I had to do to get them out of there.
Did you observe any